Welcome to Where They Wander. We're Kat and Kev, and we've lived in our RV on the road for 3 years.
This week, we are still in Independence off Highway 395, and we are taking a trip to Lone Pine for the movie museum. But first, we help a thru-hiker get back to camp to continue his hike from Mexico to Canada.
All right, we are rolling into Lone Pine. It's a very, very famous place because this is where they have the museum for all of the movies that were made in Alabama Hills, which go back to the 20s.
What happens when you send your husband out for gas? Gas! I sent him out for gas! This happens.
You can call me Gas.
He picks up a thru-hiker in town and we drive 40 miles up the mountain to drop him off at his camp. Because we would hope people would do the same to us. This is first gear and he's doing the PCT. How awesome is that? Hey.
If you'd like to support us as we support small businesses all around the United States, you can do so by becoming a member on YouTube, or you can simply like this video and subscribe to our channel, which is free.
Well, folks, we are back. 30-mile round trip up to 9,100 feet to take a thru-hiker so we can then hit the Kearsarge Pass so we can continue on his Pacific Crest Trail thru-hike to Canada.
We find so many fun things on our trips, but this is a really cool one. This big, huge tree behind me came from a cutting from Sherwood Forest in England. It is an English pedunculate oak, and it has been here since the turn of the century. Next stop on our tour is the Film Museum.
The Movie Museum, which opened its doors in 2006, collects, preserves, and exhibits a collection of film memorabilia associated with the American Western genre. Hollywood first came on location in Lone Pine in 1920, with the first movie, The Roundup, a silent Western starring Fatty Arbuckle. While two other films, Water, Water Everywhere and Cupid the Cowpuncher, were shot the previous year in 1919, The Roundup is the oldest surviving film to be shot on location.
This vintage camera car is a 1928 Lincoln, once owned by Hollywood studio RKO. Camera cars like this were used in filming from the 1930s along Movie Road with stars such as Roy Rogers, Gene Autry, Hopalong Cassidy, and many others. More recently, the car was used in movies shot in the 80s, including Under the Rainbow with Chevy Chase and Carrie Fisher, and Sunset with Bruce Willis and James Garner.
Before they restored it.
Yeah, this is what it looked like when they first found it. From RKO Pictures, they brought it on a flatbed truck. The early years of movies here. They've been making movies here ever since movies were being made. It's incredible. It's a huge poster, by the way. It's about 12 feet by 8 feet. It's crazy, look at this. Wow, Jack Hoxsey starring in Blue Streak Westerns. Crazy, huh? This headrest here is made from eagle's feathers and beads and ermine skins, and it was worn by Chief Thunderbird, or his real name was Richard Davis Thunderbird. He was Cheyenne, and he was in movies such as Annie Oakley, where he played Sitting Bull.
This beautifully restored overland stagecoach was actually a prop used in the 1939 movie Stagecoach and the 1951 John Wayne movie Rawhide.
John Wayne was, of course, the ultimate cowboy, and many of his movies were filmed here. Some of his costumes that he wore. Again, costumes. These are costumes from The Shootist.
John Wayne starred in at least 12 movies filmed in part or in whole in the Alabama Hills. His first film there was The Oregon Trail in 1936, and one of his most famous films made there was Stagecoach in 1939, which helped launch his career. Other notable films include The Three Godfathers and Three Faces West.
Of course, this was not the entirety of his movie catalogue. Over a career that spanned almost 50 years, John Wayne made 129 movies, beginning with the B-rated movie Mother Machree in 1928 to his final performance in The Shootist from 1976. He died just 3 years later.
This 1947 Plymouth Coupe was driven by Humphrey Bogart in the 1941 gangster movie High Sierra.
They have some more across the way that are even more ornate.
This 1941 Buick was used in the 1947 Gene Autry western The Trail to San Antone, also filmed here at the Alabama Hills.
Ooh, script for The Yellow Sky.
The Yellow Sky starred Gregory Peck and Ann Baker and was filmed here in 1948.
Imagine coming out here as a film star. There is literally nothing here. Dedicated to stuntmen right here. Let's go and have a look.
It is impossible to know the exact number of stunt performers who have worked in movies filmed at Alabama Hills. Hundreds of films, television episodes, and commercials have used the location since 1920, and many of these productions involve stunt work. However, specific stunt credits are not consistently documented across all productions, especially for older or smaller films. The 1939 epic Gunga Din with Cary Grant and Douglas Fairbanks was also filmed here. The museum has props from the movie, which was set in India, but it was the enormous set, which is no longer here, that literally took your breath away.
The 1950 movie Kim with Errol Flynn was also filmed at Alabama Hills because the terrain resembled the Khyber Pass.
There are many, many movie posters at the museum, but these foreign posters caught our eye. A Swedish poster for Spencer Tracy's 1955 movie Bad Day at Black Rock, and a Spanish poster for Steve McQueen's 1966 movie Nevada Smith, together with the English poster for the same movie.
Now entering another dimension. Now this shows all of the ones that were filmed, some of them in Lone Pine, Death Valley, the Eastern Sierras, things like Tremors, Digital Man, Superman, Adventures of Captain Marvel, and then Star Trek, Star Wars, New Hope, Star Wars Return of the Jedi. A lot of great films filmed here.
Alabama Hills has been so many different
Locations,
alien lands.
yeah.
It's also been places all over the world, like India. Could be the desert of Mexico. Could be anywhere in the world.
And then you've got the Star Trek movies here, Star Trek Generations.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Oh, I like the egg. The egg's awesome, look at this. And then Star Trek New Generations, not just the old Star Trek.
More recent sci-fi movies include Iron Man, and they have some props here from the movie, including the suit he was wearing when he was blown up, allegedly, in Afghanistan. But now you know it was right here in California. Stay tuned to see Kevin recreate this now famous shot of Tony Stark in front of the Jericho missile test.
Another more modern movie filmed on location here is Gladiator from 2000.
Here we have Russell Crowe on his horse coming back from Italy. But no, it's not Italy. Actually, the Alabama
The
Hills.
Sierra Nevada never looked finer than as a backdrop for the man's ride home, only to discover his family had been slaughtered.
And then here's his training costume. Yes, we have seen the movie.
There he is.
Are you not entertained? And of course, they are very fond of the modern movies that were made here. Django, and then this is the final script, Django Unchained. It is typed inside, directed and written by Quentin Tarantino. Here we have some of the cast of Django. There's Quentin Tarantino. On the right here you have James Remmer, William Black, somebody Richardson, Robert Richardson maybe, I think it says, James Russo, Christopher Waltz, and Jamie Foxx.
Along with movies, numerous TV shows, particularly westerns, have been filmed in the Alabama Hills, including The Lone Ranger, The Gene Autry Show, Bonanza, Have Gun Will Travel, and Hopalong Cassidy. Other series like The Twilight Zone and Firefly have also used the area for their unique landscapes.
As the entrance to Alabama Hills was closed during our most recent visit, we are using some of our footage from an earlier trip to show you some of the movie and TV locations, including recreations.
Oh, this is where all the movies were made.
Yes, and if you go to the museum in Lone Pine, you can get a map and it will show you the location of every movie that was filmed here.
So right up here where I'm pointing the camera this way, that's where Django Unchained was filmed. And on the other side of this is where it's the Lone Ranger Canyon, where the big gunfight that Lone Ranger, very famous movie that they did.
We are at Lone Ranger Canyon. Isn't it cool?
It is cool.
And we think this is the rocks that they use in the Lone Ranger TV show.
The TV shows Bonanza and The Lone Ranger were both filmed in these canyons. More recently, it was used for blockbusters like Django Unchained with Jamie Foxx, The Lone Ranger with Johnny Depp, and Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr.
This was our camp from our last stay here, and right down this little canyon is where they filmed a scene from Django Unchained, which we enjoyed recreating.
It's amazing out here, and if you turn around, what do you have? You've got Whitney and the Eastern Sierras.
We had to find another location of this Tony Stark shot, which I recreated. We also visited a Star Trek location where William Shatner fought aliens. Thankfully, there are no aliens at Arch Rock during our visit.
The Alabama Hills are still being used today in movies and car commercials. The natural scenery remains unspoiled and unchanged since that first film in 1920, as the rule of filming here is that the area must be left in its natural state. As you slowly drive the dirt roads of the Alabama Hills, you're driving history. You're driving where movie and TV greats have walked. Final view of us in our camp. It's a beautiful camp. This is Independence Creek Campground. As you can see, we pretty much have the place to ourselves. Beautiful, beautiful place.
Thanks for watching this week. We hope you enjoyed our visit to the Lone Pine Museum and our footage of the Alabama Hills. Join us next week as we head further up Highway 395 in California, stopping at June Lake and Mono Lake. Until then, we'll see you on the trail.